We have no idea what is in either one of these glasses. We have our individual pairs here. We're going to taste these, let you know what we think about them without any preconceived notions, and then we're going to find out what we're drinking. Stay tuned to see how it goes.
Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Erin.
I'm Josh. Thanks for joining us today. I'm ready to sip some good whiskey.
Me too.
I don't know if either of these are that.
Fingers crossed.
But we're going to hope for that. Yeah, thank you for joining us. If you're new here, Erin's a social sipper and a writer by trade, not a professional whiskey taster, turns out. And I'm also not a professional whiskey taster. I'm just a whiskey enthusiast and a truck driver for UPS. We're tasting whiskey completely blind, not to give you any kind of specific review, more of a reaction channel so that you can see how these pours strike us without any labels or hyper bias. We think that provides a lot of value for you, the viewer. And if you feel that way, you can go ahead and click subscribe down there. It'd be a huge help to us, and it would help you too, because you're just going to get more content like this in your algorithm, in your feed, wherever you get your content.
All the things.
Yeah. Last one on the nose. I like that.
Stings the nostrils.
It does.
I think it singed my nose hairs.
I like it a lot.
Wow.
Oh boy, it has a serious alcohol edge on it.
Yeah.
This pour to me smells like that friend that you have that you're like, he's rough around the edges, but he is lovable.
Well, let's see if this is lovable.
Well,
Because I don't know if it's lovable till I taste it.
I'm saying specific notes wise, I'm just getting a very classic bourbon profile. There's a lot of caramel on this thing, a lot of vanilla.
Yeah.
There's a lot of alcohol on it.
Yeah, I'm going to say I have to wade through all the alcohol to get anything.
Yeah.
Predominantly, it feels very proofy, or it smells very proofy. That's about it for me.
Yeah, and there's some dark fruit like raisiny notes in here too.
Sure, if you say so.
Let's get it on the palate.
It doesn't taste sweet to me. I'm kind of shocked by that.
Not as sweet as I thought it was going to be. I will say that as I get some swirling going on here, these extra swirlable glasses are available at stuffandwhiskey.com. Having trouble talking through.
Swirlberg is what it sounded like you said.
I'm having trouble talking through what this thing is doing in my mouth right now.
I can't swirl very well.
It's getting into this realm of like a dark raisiny sweetness. So like raisins aren't super sweet. They're kind of just mildly sweet.
I find raisins to be incredibly sweet.
Really?
But that's okay.
All right. Well, this to me is like big caramel and like that kind of raisiny sweetness a little bit. Or like maybe if you have a dessert that has raisins in it and the raisins are adding a slight bit of sweetness. I know you don't like those.
Yucky, I would not eat that dessert.
But there's some people that do like those.
They need to go away from me.
No, it's just more for them. You just don't eat them, and it's more for them. They don't need to go away.
Okay. I don't like nuts or raisins in my dessert.
They don't need to be vanquished to some island of other raisins in dessert loving people. They can, we can be an inclusive community here.
Maybe. I don't know. I have strong opinions about raisins and nuts in desserts.
Okay. Well, if you are interested in an inclusive community of whiskey lovers, you can check out our Patreon. That's down in the video description below. As we're trying to figure out what's going on with this pour, we owe it to you to let you know about it, because if you're good people and you like good whiskey, you should check out our Patreon.
Even if you like raisins, it's okay. You can join.
Yeah. And that'll get you plugged into our Discord. For as little as $3 a month, people are swapping samples, helping each other find bottles. We release our barrel picks over there. There's all kinds of bonus content and live streams. And check that out down in the video description.
So I don't know if I particularly care for this right now. It's not very sweet. It smells like alcohol, and it tastes like alcohol. Like, it doesn't have much else going for it. Like, I'm not getting a sweetness. I'm not getting any flavors, honestly. It's just alcohol burniness.
Okay. It certainly has that. It has an edge to it. So whatever that pour is, you already know. I would not venture into that pour if you're someone who doesn't like a little bit of a flash of heat on your palate. But underneath that, I am getting some sweetness, and I'm getting like this nice balance of sweetness and oak and earthiness.
What flavors are you getting? Because I was searching.
Kind of the same thing, like this raisiny sweetness, this caramel sweetness, sweet oak, and then there's that alcohol twist on it that lets you know you're dealing with something. And it seems to be, to me, to be like in those like 110s to potentially even 120 plus on proof.
I'll agree with that.
I don't know if that's true or not. It could just be coming across that way because of the alcohol edge, but it's got some kick to it.
Maybe once we go back to this after tasting glass 2, this will open up for me. Because I do feel like I'm just smelling it and the nose has changed a little bit. So
Yeah.
I think I owe this pour some more time once we taste glass 2.
Yeah. We did warm our palates up, but it was with lower proof pours. Yeah, that's quite a bit more impactful than those were. So let's get glass 2 on the nose and see how it compares.
Ooh.
Wow.
The immediate thing that came to my mind was a sugar cookie.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
This smells similar to glass 1 to me in the notes I'm getting.
There is an alcohol, like, prominence to it, but I'm getting sweetness on the nose here.
I wasn't going to say an alcohol prominence. I was going to say it feels like glass 1 just got more well-rounded to me. Similar flavor notes.
Meaning what? What does well-rounded mean to you?
Not alcohol edge, and way more of just like a cohesive across, like I can pick up notes more clearly. I'm not having to fight through that alcohol edge to get those notes. It's just coming across like really rich and balanced to me, but still very prominent in the glass. Like this is not a soft-spoken pour. It's really jumping out of the glass.
I will say off the bat, initial reaction, I like glass 2 better than glass 1.
On the nose.
On the nose. But I am going to give both of them their fair share.
Okay.
All right. So taste?
Specific notes-wise, again, heavy caramel, heavy vanilla, bourbony sweetness. And there is a fruity element in here as well. And it's kind of in that raisiny type of thing, but it kind of is leaning a little bit more into fig land too. Like a figgy paste, like in a Fig Newton or, Nature's Bakery fig bar type of thing.
I can see that. It's fig-like.
Yeah.
But I got sugar cookie immediately when I first smelled it, which is kind of awesome. But
I see your sugar cookie.
Yeah.
All right. On the palate.
I don't think that this is super sweet either, but there is more flavor there. There's a little, and by flavor, I mean sweetness. I still can't pick out specific flavors, but I feel like this has more sweetness in it. Therefore, sweetness is a flavor to me.
Okay. I'm getting like a gingerbread cookie on the palate on this.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Okay.
It's got that kind of, I don't know what you put in gingerbread cookies, but like it's kind of got like this brown sugar, molassesy type of thing going
I feel like
on.
there's nutmeg.
Or clove or something like that, or cinnamon, who knows.
I think all that.
But this has kind of that baking spice forward, like baking spice and cookie forward flavor profile on the palate.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more relaxed and subdued than glass 1. Glass 1 really punches you in the face.
Yeah.
This is a little bit more easygoing, but it still brings a lot of flavor to the equation.
And I do think there is proof here. So don't mistake easygoing for lower proof. I think there is still some significant proof here, but it does it in a less punchy way, I think.
Well, and to your point, by the way, about not having a ton of sweetness here, I think it's sweet like a gingerbread cookie is sweet. That's where my brain's going, because like a chocolate chip cookie can be really sweet.
Yeah.
And a gingerbread cookie, not as sweet as a chocolate chip cookie, but it still has a level of sweetness to it. And that's what I'm getting in this.
I can see that for sure. Yeah. I just did a second sip. I'm getting a little bit more dryingness from the oak on the second sip, but that's very common for me. I still, so far, I like glass 2 better, but we'll see what happens when we spend some more time with these. We're going to...
Hang on. I got something to say.
Oh.
Because I just took my second sip.
Oh.
I got a lot more oak on the second sip, which is not uncommon. But man, oh man, like I got this, we're in the gingerbread cookie, root beer, kind of cream soda, like earlier today for lunch. We went out and got some Jersey Mike's, and I put 1 part cream soda, 2 parts root beer.
Yep.
This kind of has that going on in it.
Interesting.
And I like that, but it also has that kind of fig raisin sweetness as well. Gingerbread cookie, big punch of oak on that second sip. It's glass 2 is no slouch. To your point earlier,
it has proof. I think it has proof.
It's more well-rounded and relaxed than glass 1, but it does pack somewhat of a punch as well. But as Aaron was saying, we do need to take some time with these, clear our palate, start with the second glass, go back to the first. A lot of stuff can change when we do that, and sometimes nothing changes at all. Yeah. But if there's one thing I know about life is that the only constant is change. So we're going to take philosophy 101 here.
Okay.
All right, we're going to take a break, clear our palates. We'll be back with all our full thoughts in here in a second. All that philosophy about change being the only constant, and I don't think much changed for me, but I do have some interesting notes that I picked up on taking my time.
Okay.
But ladies first.
Nothing changed for me.
Oh, okay.
Literally nothing. I prefer glass 2. Glass 1 still stayed pretty just alcohol. That's all I was getting. I still wasn't getting a ton on glass 2, but I liked it better than glass 1. So I'm giving glass 1 just okay. I'm giving glass 2 a thumbs up.
Okay. For me, when I started with glass 2, everything held. When I went back to glass 1, on the nose, it actually got more rich. And then on the palate, it definitely, to me, it seems like glass 1 drinks a little younger. I think that's where the brashness is coming from.
Perhaps.
I think that's where there's a deeper depth to glass 2.
A deeper depth.
A deeper depth to glass 2 than glass 1. Glass 1 comes across on the finish kind of a slightly brighter than glass 2. And because of that brightness, it's kind of coming through with a little bit more of a sour fruit note. Whereas glass 2 is coming across a little bit darker and richer.
Yeah,
now,
I can see that.
I'm not
for sure.
trying to guess. I'm not saying I think glass 1 is younger than glass 2. It's just presenting in that way in this blind tasting on this particular day.
I will concur.
I like both of them. I think there's a lot of commonality in the flavor notes that are in both of these pours. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they're from the same distillery, although that's probably highly unlikely. I'm going to give both of them a thumbs up. I like them both a lot.
Interesting.
Again, glass 1, a little bit more punchy. Glass 2, a little bit more well-balanced
If you
and
had to pick
darker.
1 to drink again right now.
Glass 2.
Okay.
Glass 2. There are times where I'm in the mood for that little bit more of like I like to refer to glass 1 like a puppy. Like it's got all that puppy energy. It's a little bit rambunctious and a little rowdy.
Okay.
And oftentimes it's tearing up your furniture and you're like, man, I wish this thing would just chill out and act more like glass 2. But sometimes you want to play with the puppy, you know? That's how I feel about it. I'm getting a lot more flavor on glass 1 though. You're just getting a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm getting a ton of flavor.
I'm not.
Okay. So you're just okay on glass 1. Thumbs up on glass 2. I'm thumbs up on both. We do both prefer glass 2.
Yep.
I think these are comparable like replacements for each other if one is available and the other's allocated.
Ooh, I don't know if I'd go that far.
I think so. Experience is a little different, but like flavors are very similar to me. All right, glass number 1 in our pool is number 8. What's the price?
$30.
Sticking strong with my thumbs up. I'm very happy with that.
Well, I am staying just okay because I have seen the price of the second glass.
What is that price?
$35.
Staying thumbs up there.
Yeah, I'm going to say thumbs up. I would definitely buy glass 2, the $35 one, and just completely skip the $30 one.
My recommendation before we find out what we're drinking is I would just say buy both of these and see which one you like more. See if you're getting the commonality in these flavor notes. If you happen to find glass 1 a little bit more alcohol forward, it's going to be great as a mixer, but they're both good enough to sit by themselves as well, in my opinion.
I will say you just had a good point. Glass 1.
I always have good points. What are you talking about?
That's true, you do. Most of the time, not always. Glass 1 would make a good mixer to me because it's so alcohol forward and it's not going to add a lot of sweetness to your cocktail. So if you like a cocktail that's not super sweet, that the sweetness isn't coming from the alcohol, glass 1 would be great for that.
You just had a good point too.
What?
That.
Oh, thanks.
It's not overly sweet.
Yeah.
Like something like Buffalo Trace, so it's not going to add a bunch of sweetness to your cocktail. That's a good point.
So like I don't prefer super duper sweet cocktails, but I do like old fashions. I just like them less sweet.
Yeah,
so I'm not saying this would be a good old fashioned, but something like that where it's a traditionally pretty sweet cocktail, but you don't like it as sweet, have an alcohol that's not very sweet.
Right. All right, let's find out what glass 1 is, number 8 in our pool.
It is Brown Foreman Early Times Bottled in Bond.
What's glass number 2?
Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve. And they're both 100 proof.
Wow. Okay. Stop the presses.
Well, hold on. Is the Early Times that white and green label?
No, Early Times it's the blue label. Early Times Bottle and Bond. It's the one I always love. There's the black. There's
the white and green is Evan Williams
right.
Bottled and Bond.
The Early Times is the black screw cap, and now it's the blue screw cap. Everybody says the black screw cap, the black plastic cap, is better than the blue metal cap. We have done. I cannot tell you how many blind tastings we ourselves and other people have done with these bottles. Only once in a video on this channel has the black screw cap beat the blue one. So it's the same whiskey. It's just blended differently, and all whiskey is that way. Batches over time change. But the blue screw cap for ourselves and over 40 people now, including the bourbon junkies, have beat the blue cap has beat the black cap.
So the Brown Foreman, the one we tried,
right,
is the black cap.
Yes, and everybody talks about how great it is. The blue screw cap is the Sazerac, version, which is what's out now.
Okay.
And at some point, the whiskey that Sazerac is making to go in that product will start to come out on the market. That hasn't happened yet, but it is going to happen sometime in the future. So if you have tried the blue screw cap and you like it, go ahead and get it. It is killed in blinds for us, the black cap, many times, as well as things like E.H. Taylor Small Batch. It's so funny how good that bottle is. Now, they're not all that good because I don't think there's a lot of quality control on a $30 product. However, I will say, shout out, I know Tyler Boggs gave us this sample.
To the Cooper's Craft.
And Barry gave us a bottle of this.
Barry Hawk gave us the Brown Foreman Early Times.
Right, so shout out to both of you guys, and shout out to Tyler for the idea to make this matchup happen, because he said he thought Cooper's Craft 100 would be a really good alternative to Early Times for the markets that don't get Early Times.
I think it absolutely is a good alternative because I didn't particularly care for the Brown Foreman, whatever this was.
So check it out. Both Brown Foreman bourbon. Early Times is Brown Foreman bourbon.
Okay.
Sazerac owns it now, but they bought the stocks from Brown Foreman, so they're still using those stocks in this whiskey.
Okay.
And this is Brown Foreman bourbon that has just been put in a barrel that was charred and then chiseled so that there's a reaction of the whiskey in the barrel with the charred sections as well as the chiseled new oak sections. And over time, that develops what they say is a little bit more of a complex, more mature flavor profile for its age, which they don't state, but we just had Cooper's Craft 100 on the channel. I'm actually in the process of editing the video, not right now at this very moment because we're recording this video, but earlier today I was editing that video against Old Forester 1924. So go back and see how that one turned out and what we thought about Cooper's Craft in that video. But turns out Cooper's Craft 100 Barrel Reserve might be about the best $35 you can spend on a bottle of bourbon if you're looking for a budget sipper. I didn't say price what I thought these were, but I would have pegged both of these at $50 pretty happily.
I would have said 50 as well.
And I think they drink a little bit above their proof, but I think that this Cooper's Craft drinks like it's 3 years older than the Early Times.
And are they the same age?
Non-age stated.
Gotcha.
They're both at least 4 years old. That's all we know based on the fact that they say they're straight bourbon whiskey from Kentucky. That means they got to be 4 years old. Cool. And this is bottled in bond, so it has to be 4 years old. That's by law.
Gotcha.
So very interesting matchup. Cooper's Craft, man. And look, Cooper's Craft is not in every market. It's in our market, but only periodically. It'll hit the shelves, and then you won't see it for months, and then it'll hit the shelves again. So if you see it, grab a bottle, I think. I don't think the Black Cap Early Times is worth hunting for. I just think Early Times in general is a good and worthy buy. I would recommend picking a bottle up if it's in your market. Both of these are great budget bottles. I think they punch well above their weight and their price point. And I think our scores and our reactions were indicative of that.
Yeah.
However, not you so much on the Early Times because you just got all that alcohol.
Yeah, it was just super dry and just like alcohol.
On a different day, you haven't felt that way. And you can look back in the catalog and find the Brown Foreman Early Times versus the Sazerac Early Times. We didn't feel that way that day, which is also a testament to palates being the exact same palate being different on a different day.
Yeah.
I think that's it on this one. I think I mentioned a shirt earlier, but maybe I mentioned the Patreon earlier. If you like this shirt, Stuff and Whiskey, good people.
You can get more of them over at our .com.
Yeah, it says be good, do good, drink good whiskey. That's what we believe. That's what Erin tells me every day when I leave for work. She says, be good, do good, and drink good whiskey.
No, I say be good and do good.
Yeah.
We added the drink good whiskey for this channel, but I don't tell them to drink good whiskey at work.
Right. Being a truck driver, that would be terrible advice.
Bad advice.
Yeah. I don't listen to her anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Anyway, that note, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Be good to each other, and until next time.
Cheers.